Clavicular was no flux maxing.
Alright, so here is what's called a waterline pen.
He's right now geo maxing. This guy just ran over somebody on stream.
Oh my fuck. Oh my god! He probably just ran.
Is he dead?
I don't know.
Hopefully.
And now the guy is in the jail for the fucking second time over having a fake ID and having drugs, which he had made to use multiple times.
My top drugs are meth, ketamine, Adderall, steroids, peptides. I do it all.
Establish that he was in possession of a forged document and that it was being used to defraud, given the fact that he was under the age of 21 and he obtained a loose pill. Additionally, I would point out that there's information in the Form 4 that Mr. Peters had been live streaming himself approaching individuals in Old Town Scottsdale asking if he could obtain Adderall. So certainly that factual information would negate the assertion that he in fact has some type of valid prescription for that.
So there's this lawyer right here who's an attorney and knows a lot about laws. We're gonna see what he thinks about the clavicular, the charges, the time he may serve, and his defense. Fast facts.
Clavicular has been arrested on what are felony charges. We're going to get into that today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. This is the Fast Facts version, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. So jumping right into it with our PowerPoint here today, Clavicular, a kick streamer, has been arrested in Scottsdale, Arizona. Here's one version that I saw of the quote-unquote mugshot. And here's
this one was fake though.
Another one over here in this picture, and him as well as him being arrested on stream.
So I imagine doing all the looks maxing advices and tips and still look like a normal guy, bro.
Him smiling right there as he's getting hauled off by the police. So what are we talking about here? What are the charges he's facing? So, and obviously, once again, this is in Scottsdale, Arizona, dealing with the Scottsdale police. So obviously an application of Arizona law. So let's look at what we have here. In general, we have Clavicular, whose real name is Braden Peterson. He's a famous kick streamer and quote unquote looks maxer. That's, in case you guys don't know that term, that's something used a little bit of the manosphere red pill community for those that are trying to...
Nice black pill, not red pill.
In a little bit of the manosphere red pill community for those that are trying to maximize their looks in order to get women. That's his thing. Just the other day he had...
I always say this nigga was gonna go to jail, but I didn't say how. I thought he was gonna go to jail for maybe running somebody over on stream, maybe pushing steroids to kids. I didn't think this nigga was gonna go to jail for a fake ID.
Just the other day he had some women fawning over him in an ASU frat party, although he got quote unquote frame mogged by some folks that were a little bit more jacked than him. But that said, that's not relevant to the arrest charges here. That's just a little bit of the background on who this guy is.
Telling people flame mogged, bro. They don't even know what the fuck that means. Even me, sometimes I don't understand those terms. Like sometimes I read the caption to a clavicular clip and I can't understand what that shit wanna mean. I don't get a meaning.
These three charges that he was arrested on were forgery, which is felony possession of a forged instrument. This is a fake ID. Then he had use of the false ID, so that's a misdemeanor. So the possession of it is a felony. The use of
you gotta be guilty of those too, bro. This nigga, if you guys gotta remember, they went to a club with Andrew Tate and all those losers. How did Clavicular get to there when he's only 20? That's a question, because he just turned 20 and in US to get into a club, you need to be at least 21. He probably used the fake ID.
It was a misdemeanor. And then you've got possession and use of drugs, which is a class 4 felony.
Yeah, this nigga be bragging about using Adderall and meth, bro, and sniffing cocaine on stream. Like, that's what he be doing, bro. Shit, my boy's guilty on all 3 counts, bro. Insane.
Now, the drugs are the most serious thing. Now, at first, I saw it reported as white powder, but then...
The drugs are the most serious thing? Damn. I actually thought the fake ID was the biggest part. I didn't know. Fuck.
Drugs are the most serious thing. Now, at first, I saw it reported as white powder, but then I saw, and there's a clip from the courtroom that says that it is actually in a single loose Adderall pill.
Mr. Peters had been live streaming himself approaching individuals in Old Town Scottsdale asking if he could obtain Adderall.
That's me. Holy
Want some good stuff?
So if it is indeed a single loose Adderall pill, that's going to be a lot different than if we're looking at some sort of white powder, which could be, cocaine, it could be meth, it could be ketamine, it could be a lot of things. So we don't know exactly what that is. And that's
Clavicular is known for saying that he used meth to lose body fat, which is crazy. I don't really hate Clavicular. I actually agree with a lot of things that he be saying, but the method is the one I don't agree with. Because when you say I want to lose the body fat, he can tell you maybe do a run, maybe start jumping ropes, maybe ignore this for the net. Niggas straight up tell you to start doing meth, bro. That is crazy.
That would vary extremely. And when we get into the charges here, we see all of these have been pressed. We've got F4 felony 4, F4 felony 4 for the dangerous use and possession and the forgery, and then we've got M1 for misdemeanor. So in the aggregate, yes, these can carry severe time if he was convicted of all of these. But another thing we have to remember is he's a first-time offender. So if it's Adderall, a prescription would be the thing to negate the charge. So you'd want to get a prescription in there, and if you're his defense, you're going to want to, the first thing you're going to want to do is look for a way to mitigate that. If it's a white powder, that's going to be a little different. There's not going to be a prescription for cocaine or for meth.
Okay.
Maybe if it was ketamine, maybe. I mean, I don't know if there's other things, but usually that would be in a more prescribed form. So yeah, this is something where Adderall, you need that prescription. So if it really was one loose pill of Adderall, you're going to need a prescription to negate that or some other way to let you be in possession of that. The forgery and ID charges are going to be the hardest to fight because that's more of a per se thing. Hey, you did it. The defense is trying to argue intent and saying, hey, there's no intent to defraud, which is required under Arizona law. And if they're able to mitigate with intent, maybe the use, they can knock out the misdemeanor charge. But the possession, I think that's something that is going to be a little bit more difficult for them. So we're going to have to see how they handle that. But those are still going to stick, even if the prescription is there for Adderall, right? You're going to still have to fight the forgery charges. So on this...
Yo, Chad, I got one question, though. Do you guys think Clavicular is making out with these charges, bro?
We've got a February 23rd status conference and a February 26th preliminary hearing. Those are both coming up. So we'll keep you guys posted when those actually come out. And in my judgment here, these are likely going to be relatively minor charges because he's a first-time offender. So because he's a first-time offender, you've probably got probation, drug testing. You might have other checkups, other sort of requirements he's supposed to do. More severe punishment would hinge on the drug charge, but it appears to be a small quantity. If it's one loose pill, or let's say he had a little bit of powder on him, right? It's just personal use. It's not distribution. So likely for a first-time offender, they're not going to throw the book at him and put him in jail for 19 years, 8 years, etc., or the maximum charge. However, he's already said this on stream that he needs to watch himself on stream.
There's a lot of terms to my release that they're just waiting. Literally, if I up one time, the cops will be arresting me probably within 10 minutes.
Though. Probation is one of the scariest times anybody can ever be on, bro. Let me give you guys one challenge, though. Would you guys go on 1 year probation? If you violate it once, you get 10 years. Or you go to jail for 1 month. Which one did you guys choose? I want to see in the comments.
They're watching all the time. I need lawyers, really.
But he says there that he's got to watch himself because the cops are watching, and it makes it easy for them to press further charges. And if they're pressing those further charges, that's going to put more heat on him if he ends up streaming his own crimes, which is what we've seen as a trend. We've seen these people, especially the nuisance streamers, especially if they're on different platforms that really don't police this. They're able to come out and just do these things, and then the cops will have them caught in 4K because their streams were not taken down, right? So when you have a very permissive platform, that's nice for you, but you might be caught on camera doing something you shouldn't be doing, and the platform may not take that down, and that serves the police.
I'm not gonna lie, if you get banned on Kick, you might as well be worse than Hila, bro. What did you do? Did you kill somebody on stream? Literally, Clavicular ran over somebody and didn't get banned. So that means if you get banned, you probably raped a girl on stream live.
With all the evidence they need to come and get you. So you need to be very careful what you're doing when you're streaming, very careful what you're saying when you're streaming, very careful what you're representing when you're streaming. That's kind of the lesson for today. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on
that'd be illegal mindset, bro. Shout out to this guy. He got 300K. Something happens which involves the laws. Come hit this guy up. He got a lot of things he'll be saying, though.